Welcome, residents, to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is Dr. DC, and sitting in my skin and my body is the doctor himself. Hello! Each week, we answer your questions from the weird and wonderful world of DC Comics. We take questions from listeners like you. I clearly don't do the intro that much. It's me. I'm holding down the fort, baby. Producer Richard is off. He's not feeling great. But I'm not doing it alone. It's the first episode of FANAGAR. It's the way we kick it off every year. It's fight night. So who better to have back than special guest, our friend, Alex Jaffe.
Hey, happy to be back for another scheduled doctor's appointment.
Yeah, that sounds fun, right?
Oh, yeah. I got a few issues to talk to you about.
Yeah. Well,
literal issues
on the show, I will give very definitive answers with limited research.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, every year we kick off with fight night. Last year we finally got the good fortune to bring you in. You're the who would win in a fight expert. I would say.
The official adjudicator. I did it for DC for a couple years for their DC Universe application. We're talking about maybe doing something like that a little down the line as we consolidate what's going on the DC Comics website. But my services are always open and available on Twitter.
I do like on those days where you have some time or something and you'll just throw it out there, like, you know, send me one and I'll tell you who would win.
Exactly. My hours are open for the rest of the evening. I'll just I'll throw it open on special occasions. Yeah. And the only two rules are that everything I say is binding and you're not allowed to argue with me. But I will make an exception for you today.
Sure. Right. Well, I mean, I will do my best, but I thought for this year, I thought a sort of fun twist to it would be this year, all the matchups are tag teams. So we had our listeners send in pairings of characters who will be a tag team duo. And then I put all of those into randomresult.com to split up these matchups. So we have tag team matchups to adjudicate. So I think there'll be some like interesting variables thrown in into the mix, because some of these teams are a little bit wild and in some cases wildly lopsided.
I can't wait.
All right, let's just get right into it. Okay. Match number 1. We have a team of Matter Eater Lad and Ryan Choi versus Hal Jordan and Saint Walker.
The question is light matter?
Oh, okay, interesting. So for just to make sure I'm doing my due diligence as the doctor, Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, Saint Walker, Blue Lantern.
Sure.
And so they're a team. The blue ring is Hope, green is Will, and they supercharge each other to give them even more power than
yeah.
Ryan Choi is the second Atom. Well, I guess not the second.
The all-new Atom.
The follow-up to the Ray Palmer
Atom.
Sure. And then Matter Eater Lad, member of the Legion of Superheroes, comes from the planet Bismol, and he can consume and digest any material.
Oh, yeah. He's one of my favorite Legionnaires.
So the idea here that you're describing is light matter. Could he just eat constructs?
Yeah. I don't think he could, because energy is definitively not matter.
Yeah, doesn't light have that kind of, this is me delving into physics, which is dangerous. Doesn't light have that weird thing of being both, where like photons are matter, but waves are not?
No, light is electromagnetic radiation. Like matter can become energy when it reaches a certain velocity. But as it is, I don't think light is something that Matter Eater Lad can eat.
Oh, so what's a photon then? Is a photon just what they call a wave?
It's a wave. It's a particle. It's both, depending on how you observe it.
Yeah. And right. So it's energy.
Right.
Interesting. Right. I mean, it is tricky because we're with the lanterns, we're always talking about hard light. So then the question is, can energy have substance and texture without becoming matter in some way?
I think by comic book rules,
sure,
that hard light is still by definition light. I don't think we've ever seen Matter Eater Lad eat through a light construct.
Sure. Yeah, I'm willing to go for that. So then the other person in that tag team, though, is got the Atom.
What's he gonna do here?
I was throwing that out there.
All right. Here's my thing. We know that usually what the deal is with the Atom is that he's able to get through force fields because presumably air needs to get through them so that lanterns can talk, or so that whoever's projecting can talk or breathe. However, lanterns can produce their own atmosphere, so that's not really the case here.
Right.
Also, once you team up Hal and Saint Walker, you've got what's like by design the most powerful combination of two lanterns. They just kind of need to set an all directions blast out, and there's like no real way for him to avoid that.
I'm gonna throw something out there just for the fun of it. In Blackest Night, this wasn't Ryan Choi, but Ray Palmer shrinks down inside a lantern ring, and then in a totally different series, in the Morrison Sharp Green Lantern, we know that there's like a world inside the ring.
Yes,
it's like one of my favorite issues. I love
Justice as well. Sure.
Yeah. So I guess the question is, do we think he could get the jump on them to get not like completely, ray gunned by a lantern construct before he could like hop in there and do something to mess with their rings?
Maybe if he wasn't dealing with Hal Jordan, whose whole thing is that he knows his own ring better than anybody.
Sure. Yeah.
If there was somebody invading his ring, he'd know about it and he'd know how to deal with it.
Totally.
The whole point of Morrison's the Green Lantern, if anything, is that Hal Jordan's true love is his ring. Right. So if there's something going on in there, he's going to deal with it.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right, there you go. We're giving this one to Hal Jordan and Saint Walker. Green and blue win that one.
Oh yeah.
All right. Next matchup, we've got Blue Beetle, Ted Cord, and Booster Gold. So the classic blue and gold team.
Sure.
Up against Rebus and Rack Shade.
Oh dang. This is a mismatch.
This yeah, it is a mismatch.
Yeah.
Rebus, for those who that's not coming to mind. Rebus was a sort of like amalgam of a few characters that were essentially versions of Negative Man, Negative Woman, kind of fused together, if I'm not mistaken.
Kind of a gestalt of the negative entities.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so member of the Doom Patrol, and then Rack Shade is that's Shade the Changing Man.
Sure, he's got the M vest.
That's right. Which lets him alter reality to a way in a manner that I don't remember precisely how it works.
In a way, he can't really super control that well.
Right. Yeah.
So we're dealing with two extremely powerful but chaotic entities versus a couple of goofballs.
Sure. Yeah. Well-intentioned and sometimes competent goofballs, but this does feel slightly like they're out of their league here.
Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, the move here is for Booster to just kind of throw up his force field and wait out whatever randomness is going on the other side of this field.
Right.
I mean, this is kind of that tag team trope of you can really just wait for the other team to knock itself out.
Sure. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's possible that having two such kind of chaotic characters on one team does more damage to them than it does good. Right.
We're dealing with like interpersonal and social chaos versus primordial forces of chaos.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And I think Ted is there to ground Booster, show him that discretion can be the better part of valor. And maybe the best thing to do is hide in this corner while the forces of literal madness tear each other apart.
I truly can't remember from the most recent sort of Doom Patrol run. Does Negative Man still have the or Rebus still have the like time limit on how long the negative entity can be outside their physical body?
Not as Rebus.
Not as Rebus.
Rebus is this fully realized entity that doesn't have that time limit because it's not like tethered to a human being. It's
right.
It's an amalgamation of those human beings.
Right.
So that's not that 60-second time limit where if he's outside of a body, he'll die doesn't really apply in this case.
Right. All right. So we're giving this to Beetle and Booster?
But Rebus is extremely volatile.
Yes.
And it's a powder keg that the just absolute bonkers nature of the MVES could very easily set off. I want to give it to Booster and Ted.
You know what? You're not going to get an argument from me. I like an underdog.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I think they can get in the bug and wait this out while the universe collapses in on itself, just like they did in Crisis on Infinite Earths, or at least Ted did.
It's the MVest is one of those things that I know multiple times I've either read, the Shade comics or I've gone and just looked it up and I never remember how it works. It's like, it's such an insane sort of artifact to me.
It's such a strange comic that it's difficult to think of it on regular DC terms. It doesn't fit with the rest of the DC universe. It's kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
That's kind of the thesis of the issues that, who's the writer of Shade the Changing Man, whose name is escaped? Peter Milligan did for Justice League Dark at the beginning of the New 52. Right, or at the beginning, in the first 6 issues, Shade is a part of the team. But at the end, it's like, what am I doing here? I don't belong here. This universe doesn't fit what my whole deal is. And he just kind of leaves a reality altogether.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, could very well happen here.
See what happens here. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Okay, our next matchup. I like this one. This is
hold on. I need to ask, do the winners of these matches go on to fight each other?
No, I didn't set this up like brackets.
Oh, yeah, that's what we do on my show on Insert Credit. We have this segment called Violence Island, where once a month we take matches submitted by listeners and we take the winners of those matches and make them fight each other, no matter how little sense it makes. So if you want to check out my show, that's what we do. All right, go on.
Do you pick when you do that on Insert Credit, is it always just like wide open any video game characters, or do you kind of like theme it like you're looking at a certain corner of characters?
No. Any kind of video game character or anything even related to a video game.
Right on.
People can submit to their matchups on our forum. And that will basically seed the preliminary round. And then the winners of those matches will fight each other.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we end up with Sephiroth fighting Bomberman. The King of All Cosmos fighting Takahashi Meijin. It gets pretty
sure. Yeah. I like that. All right. This next one. So team number 1 is Blue Beetle Jaime Reyes.
Love him.
And Tracy 13.
Ooh, good team.
And team number 2 is the Spectre and Gnort.
Well, Jaime has handled the Spectre before.
Yes, right. So Jaime Reyes, he has the Scarab, which has been alternating as like alien tech / magic.
Depending on whether you're talking to John Rogers or Keith Giffen, basically.
Yeah. And Tracy 13, also magic character.
Yeah.
The Spectre is the spirit of God's vengeance, bound to a human soul.
Yeah.
And Gnort is a lovable but largely incompetent dog Green Lantern.
Okay. Here's what I want to say about the Spectre. People love talking up the Spectre, that he's this omnipotent super being who can basically defeat anybody by blinking at them. But let me tell you something. I've been rereading John Ostrander's Spectre series, which is one of my favorite like mystic DC runs.
Right.
And the whole thing of it is, if you're not like the person that God's vengeance has fallen upon, it's not that he won't do anything to you. He can't.
Right.
It's just not within his power to even like use whatever wrath he has against you.
Right.
And like Jaime is such a pure soul, as we see in his battle against Eclipso, that his greatest guilty self-serving pleasure is that someday he wants to become a dentist. Like that's like his greatest id. And you know, Tracy 13, she like dabbles in the occult, I'm sure, but I don't think she's done anything to warrant like the wrath of vengeance.
No, I mean, if anything, she has like an actual like job. Doesn't she like work in the Oblivion bar?
She works at the Oblivion bar. She helps smooth things over in the Mystic community. If Spectre attacked Tracy 13, people would be pissed at him.
Yeah.
So I don't think Spectre can really do anything to these guys.
It's funny that you bring that up, because I actually think that argument holds even if you bring in the Gotham by Midnight thing, which the big reveal in there was that it was actually Corrigan who was picking who got vengeance.
Right.
That he believed that he had to like wait for, you know, the vision from God or whatever, but it was actually him. But I think even there, that just means like psychologically, like he's even got to convince himself that a person is like needs the sort of like brutal biblical.
Yeah, these are a couple of nice kids.
Yeah,
just trying to do their best.
And I think you could maybe make a case for Gnort setting up some sort of hilarious Rube Goldberg machine that somehow wins them the day. I think you there's enough comic evidence to support something like that. But
I will say that Jaime Scarab and the Green Lantern Ring are natural enemies. They set each other off.
Yeah, the Reach and the Green Lanterns not get along.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I think I'm giving it to Jaime and Tracy.
Yeah, I think they can handle Gnort.
Yeah, I
think
they can
together they could take out the weakest Green Lantern. I don't think I'm talking out of school here.
No, I think this is fair.
No, if it were like Liesel Pawn or something, then we'd have a case.
All of that just makes me feel even worse for the Scarlet Skier.
Oh boy.
All right. Okay. Next matchups. I see what someone did with this one matchup. I see what they were going for.
All right.
So tag team number 1, Plastic Man and Cinderblock.
Okay.
Tag team number 2, Beast Boy and Cyborg.
What do you see happening here?
Yeah. So we know Beast Boy. We know his powers. He can turn into any animal. We know Cyborg. We know his thing. We know Plastic Man. We know his thing. Cinderblock is a giant Cinderblock man.
He's from the Teen Titans cartoon.
Yeah.
Made a couple appearances in comics, I think.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys who's designed to be a mook that the Teen Titans fight.
Totally. What do I see happening here? I think best case scenario for the Plastic Man and Cinderblock team is like Plastic Man constantly designing himself into things and throwing Cinderblock. So he's
like a slingshot deal.
A slingshot or a trebuchet or a like whatever, and he's just constantly throwing and rethrowing Cinderblock.
Yeah.
I mean, Plastic Man could do stuff on his own too, but if we're like making them actually work together, that to me feels like a decently big part of it. Or you know, like maybe Plastic Man just makes himself into a big tarp and Cinderblock holds the corners down and you just like hold Cyborg and Beast Boy underneath there.
God.
Yeah, I mean, I think to me, Beast Boy and Cyborg probably should be able to do more, but the wild card here is Plastic Man. Plastic Man is like a wildly overpowered character.
Yeah. There's one thing that Grant Morrison and Frank Miller agree on, and it's that Plastic Man is scary as hell.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. His existence should concern you.
Yeah. Whether you're reading JLA or Dark Knight Strikes Again, if you're dealing with Plastic Man and he's not being a goofball, there's like nothing you can do to him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's essentially largely indestructible.
Right.
He's functionally immortal.
Mm-hmm.
He has really like no limit to how far he can stretch, and he has no limit to like the shape changes he can make to himself, because Elongated Man can just stretch himself, but like Plastic Man could like put a hole in his torso and then fill it back in. Like he can actually alter the shape of his.
He's a cartoon.
Yeah. He has full kind of cartoon physics almost. Yeah.
So I don't think this is a fair fight at all.
Yeah. Plastic Man and Cinderblock.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cinderblock's not bringing a ton to that team, if we're being honest.
He's a cudgel.
Yeah. But I could see Plastic Man having fun with that, or just, wrapping him up and turning his hand into a giant mace with Cinderblock inside it or something.
Yeah. Beast Boy and Cyborg are friends. I don't think we see a lot of them, a lot of teamwork strats between them. We see them hanging out a lot outside of fighting, but usually it's Robin who coordinates that.
Right. Yeah, no, that's true too. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Beast Boy and Cyborg have cool powers, but I just don't know what you're supposed to do against Plastic Man.
Exactly. How does one work off the other?
Yep. I give that to Plastic Man and Cinderblock.
That's fair.
All right. Okay, here's one you might find interesting. You might like this one. So team number 1, Apollo and Midnighter.
Sure.
Classic.
The dream team.
Team number 2, Space Cabbie and Captain Comet. So for those at home who might not know or remember, do you mind giving the rundown on Captain Comet and the Space Cabbie?
All right. Captain Comet is actually the first mutant superhero. Like the first time you see the word mutant used in comics, it's used to apply to Adam Blake, who's
really that's before the X-Men.
Yes, that's before this is 1951.
There you go.
And the deal with him is that he's born generations before his time. He's like thousands of years from now, this is how all of humanity is supposed to be, but he was born early.
Right.
And he has your basic Superman flight of powers. He's got super strength. He's got flight. He's got super speed. He's super smart. But he's also got like psychic powers.
Right.
So he's got that going for him. He's basically your Silver Age sci-fi Superman, but in space.
Yeah.
He had a lot of trouble controlling his powers at one point. Superman helps him out. And the deal with Space Cabbie is that he drives a cab in space and gives people rides. That's his deal.
I love that Space Cabbie showed up a bunch in, was it Justice League Action?
It was Justice League Action.
I love that.
I loved his role as kind of a Green Lantern informant in Hal Jordan's Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah, I really like that. Okay.
I would read a Robert Venditti Space Cabbie series. Give me a Black Label 12-issue Space Cabbie.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm into that.
Make it collateral.
Yeah. All right. Well, Apollo and Midnighter are started as a gay joke, but it's taken a lot more seriously now.
Yeah, I mean, Midnighter has the fight computer, which in these kind of things, I think always becomes the sort of like, well,
right.
Apollo has, a lot of, again, sort of Superman-ish powers. But if we are doing the thing where we're kind of canceling out sort of similar things. Am I wrong for thinking Captain Comet has the edge over Apollo, just partly for having more powers and partly for the volatility of the powers?
One-on-one, yes, specifically because of stuff like his ability to teleport and because of clairvoyance. He can see a little bit into the future, but working together with Midnighter,
right?
I think Apollo has. I think Midnighter can kind of guide Apollo to see Captain Comet coming and fight on his level.
Right.
That is until Space Cabbie crashes his car into Midnighter.
It's such a lopsided team. I just really love that. That's really funny to me. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, truly what we're talking about here is, does Space Cabbie's cab have any sort of, it does fly in space, really fast. So I'm assuming it's made of something special and more durable or strong than a usual thing. Is there any possibility that like he has janky locks and Midnighter can't get out of the back or anything like that?
I mean, again, Midnighter's whole thing is that he can see everything coming. I don't think there's a way for Space Cabbie to get the drop on him.
Yeah. So you're saying Apollo and Midnighter?
I'm saying Apollo and Midnighter because, unlike many of the teams we've dealt with so far, the teamwork between Midnighter and Apollo is so well established,
right,
that they could even take that together. They could overcome the power advantages that Captain Comet has.
Right. It's like an actual asset. It's not just two people fighting alongside each other.
Whereas, I don't know, Space Cabbie doesn't really add anything to this fight.
No, he does. No, he doesn't. Yeah.
It's fun to have him here. He can take Captain Comet to the hospital after this.
Like a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I was slightly leaning Captain Comet, but that was just me going, but so many powers. It's like, it's the Martian Manhunter thing, right?
Yeah.
It's that he has so many of them.
It's that Silver Age thing of he's got every power.
Yeah.
But again, Apollo is another one of those guys.
Yeah.
And he's got a husband who can tell him everything that's happening.
I think you're right. I'll relent, and we'll let Apollo and Midnighter have that one. Sorry, Space
Solo
Cabbie.
1-on-1. Captain Comet beats Apollo.
Right,
but
sure.
We're doing tag teams today.
Everything you knew thrown out the window.
Exactly.
All right, next team. So team number 1. Con-El and Brainiac 5.
Ooh, okay.
Team number 2, Lobo and the Elongated Man.
Well, this is a good one.
I think this one feels like on both sides, both teammates are actually bringing something to bear.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I actually think of all the people listed here, I'm going to throw a hot take out there that I think Lobo is probably the easiest to deal with.
Really?
And here's my reasoning here is, you got Brainiac 5, very famous for his own personal force field thing. I'm tempted to think you trap Lobo in the force field, and then all of his healing and strength all of a sudden doesn't mean all that much.
Right. What you got to do is contain him.
Right. That's what you got to contain him and basically take him out of the fight.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Lobo is pretty much impossible to beat if you're like a Doomsday.
Yeah.
But yeah, considering Brainiac 5's whole thing is like force field projection, he's absolutely the guy to take him out.
And then Connor Kent is interesting, right? He's half Kryptonian, he's got all the powers,
tactile telekinesis.
Tactile telekinesis.
Yeah, people forget about the tactile telekinesis, which is why he has to remind you about it in every single issue.
You know what? We clown on it, but I do kind of like when a comic reminds me of things.
It's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, there's this problem. There's this very prevalent problem in comics. It's like, oh, I don't know what's going on. How could I possibly pick up any story when there's like 80 years of history? It's all overwhelming. And Superboy reminds you what his deal is in every issue.
It's funny. I mean, it's not totally the same, but Richard and I have had this conversation on Ghostfacers on the other podcast a bunch, where it's like, I think a thing that partly makes Supernatural work so well is every episode has a then and a little clip package of the stuff you need to remember, and then a now, and you go into the episode.
Oh yeah,
and I think
previously,
I think there's something to be said for the previously on of it all. Yeah,
absolutely. Especially considering the absolute glut of television that between one season and the next, there's a likelihood that you've watched 30 entire shows.
Right.
So that last season on recap is especially important.
So in this match, am I out of line in saying that like Ralph doesn't really have a shot here against
Ralph
Connor?
Is not Elongated Man is not Plastic Man.
Exactly, right?
They are superficially similar, but he still has bones.
Yeah. Yeah. And there are limits to it. His actual flesh, he could be shot, he could be stabbed.
I don't know if Plastic Man is even a man anymore. Elongated Man is a man.
Yes, right. Yeah, I mean, if we agree that Brainiac 5 could take Lobo out, then it's a foregone conclusion that Connor Kent and Brainiac 5 win this.
Sure. Yeah, that's the strongest asset here.
Yeah. All right. I like those teams. That was a good one.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, this next matchup, the one team could possibly win anyway, but they're going to win because we're going to veto one of the teams.
Okay.
And as soon as I say it, you're going to understand.
All right.
So, team number 1, Cyborg Superman and Zatanna.
Wow. Okay.
Team number 2, Superboy Prime and Bueno Excelente.
Oh, well, we don't have to veto Bueno Excelente because Zatanna is going to veto him for us.
Yes.
Yeah. She's going to go Otev, and he's out of this match.
Yes. Yeah. He's out. But now
what remains is very interesting.
That team still has Superboy Prime.
Yeah. Superboy Prime, who takes on entire universes and wins.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I like the idea of when you talk about like in wrestling where you put your moves together as a tag team and you kind of fuse your things. I love the idea of fusing all of like the techno kind of stuff with the sorcery of Zatanna.
Yes, absolutely.
It was a thing that I really loved in the first season of Young Justice, where they put like a real emphasis on like, and when the villains team up, we get all these people that are great at tech and alien biology and magic, and we fuse it all together and we make this like perfect take over a superhero device.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of like a techno sorcery team of the Cyborg Superman and Zatanna.
Sure.
Because I think that's the one kind of wild card in the Superboy Prime piece, is that he is very firmly rooted still in like the rules of science fiction as opposed to magic and stuff.
Where we left Zatanna at the end of Justice League Dark, at the end of Rom's run, is she's basically the DC equivalent of the Sorcerer Supreme. She's gotten like the entire primordial magic force inside of her.
Right.
And something happened that we didn't see on screen that changed that between then and say Dark Crisis.
Yes.
Josh Williamson has told me that they'll get into that at some point.
Oh, all right.
That how that separation happened will be addressed.
Right.
That it's been thought about. But at the height of her power, I think Zatanna could take Superboy Prime.
Yeah, I'm I'm all for that. I mean, I love that. I love that character. But I mean, truly, like she had kind of absorbed like the Upside Down Man and like all of you're saying the sort of like the foundational like ooze of magic was just like a thing she had at her disposal.
And as for Hank Henshaw, he famously cannot die as much as he tries.
Right.
Like the one thing he wants is to lose this fight, and he can't. He's physically incapable of losing this battle. I mean, much to his chagrin.
That's sort of an interesting wrinkle, though, too, with his legacy self-sabotaging.
I mean, the thing is that Hank Henshaw hates Superman, and there's Superman's stupid face right in front of him. So I don't think he is self-sabotaging in this case. This is a really good match, but I think our techno magic team takes it.
Yeah. Right. Cyborg, Superman, and Zatanna.
Yeah.
Very nice. Awesome. All right. This is a fun / weird one. Okay. Tag team number 1, Ray Palmer, the Atom, and Vixen.
Okay.
Team 2, Ambush Bug and Black Adam. My impulse, and you can refute this. My impulse is that Ambush Bug and Black Adam are like have more power at their disposal.
Absolutely, yes.
Between the teleportation, like let's leave the sort of like reality awareness piece aside.
Yeah, let's leave that out of that for now.
Ambush Bug's other main power is teleportation,
right?
And then Black Adam is like one of the most powerful.
He's another guy who took on the entire world. I mean, granted, Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman were off the table at the time, but still left a considerable amount of power.
And it's too bad, I think, because I really like the team of the Atom and Vixen. I like both those characters and I like their powers, but I have a hard time thinking of the scenario where their team up or their powers can outmatch just the sheer like level of the powers of Ambush Bug and Black Adam.
There's this very common trope you see in these who would win in a fight sort of things with a guy like the Atom or the Ant-Man.
Right.
The Thanos butthole theorem. Right. Let's get into it. This is the right podcast to get into that.
This is the only podcast to get into this.
Yeah. This is not something I would discuss on my show, but here it is right here. Where basically you crawl inside of your opponent and then you grow back to your regular size and tear them apart.
Or not even grow back. We even just go to Identity Crisis, where the belt was used to shrink and stomp on a brain and give an aneurysm.
Sure. But that brain that Gene Loring stepped on was a regular human brain.
Yes.
Why would you assume that the interior of this character is any more squishy or vulnerable than the outside of this character?
Yeah, you're right. The Thanos butthole argument always assumes that his skin is like an exoskeleton.
Right. Which is not the case. Sure. I mean, you remember that scene in that X-Men movie where they take an X-ray of the Thing and like all of his organs are also made of orange rock?
Oh, in Fantastic Four,
yeah, Fantastic Four. Sure. I'm not a Marvel guy. The Thing, he's a mutant, right?
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. Like they treat the Thing like it's like the anatomy lesson.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, like the anatomy lesson. Exactly. Yeah. He's Swamp Thing all the way through. Black Adam is still Black Adam, whether you're inside of him or not.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
And the other thing is Ray Palmer would never do that. He would never rip a person open from inside.
Totally.
Like a lot of these sort of death battle scenarios, what they do is they strip the personality of the character away to analyze like what their powers could do. But that's not fun. That's boring.
Yeah.
That's applying the powers they have to a doll who doesn't think and feel like they do. And I feel like that's losing 70% of what makes a who would win in a fight match cool.
Because it's also done very selectively. They only really do that with powers. They never do that with a character whose part of their personality is like being prepared or having strategy or something like that. They only
never
do
do
it
with
with
Batman.
just the powers. So it's like, if you're talking about someone's personality, you got to include it, whether they're good at strategy or bad at it, or whether they're compassionate or not, you know?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going crazy sometimes talking to people about this. No, we're on the same page here, Doc. Absolutely. We got to remember who these characters are, or what is it all for?
Exactly. No, we're on the same page. We're just the slummier version of your podcast. So that's why we talk about buttholes and stuff.
Thank you. All right. I'm glad we could take this match to address that.
Yeah, that's right. This is a very important PSA.
Absolutely. Black Adam and Ambush Bug win. I'm sorry, Vixen. I know that you have God-imbued powers. So, I mean, you could make an argument that Vixen's like leopard claws could work on Superman or something.
Yeah.
But Black Adam is also divinely imbued, so I think that cancels each other out.
I think that's fair. I'm siding with that team as well.
We don't even have to whip out the fourth wall breaking.
No, which is not necessarily advantageous.
No.
Okay. Next team. We have Plastic Man and John Constantine.
Plastic Man back for another dose. Okay.
He's back again. And the other team is Color Boy and Rainbow Girl.
Okay. Color Boy and Rainbow Girl. One has the power to change the color of anything.
Yeah. Color Kid. My dad loves the Legion of Superheroes. So
yeah.
Growing up, I always got to hear about these ones. And my dad loves the Legion of Substitute Heroes.
Sure.
And so Color Kid, whose power is just the ability to change the color things are.
I mean, in certain scenarios, in a team-based sort of adventure, that could be useful in certain circumstances.
I would even make the argument that if there was a lantern in this, I would be using it.
Yo, yes.
You know, like if this is a Green Lantern thing, I'd be bringing the yellow impurity out.
Oh yeah, that would absolutely make sense. In fact, like if this were a team of Color Kid and John Constantine versus Plastic Man and Rainbow Girl, I think you could make an argument that John could find a way to use these powers.
Yeah.
Rainbow Girl, her thing is
tapping the emotional spectrum, isn't it?
Yes, her thing. Yeah, like as Jeff Johns imagined it, I think.
Yeah,
he was teasing doing something with her to that effect around Blackest Night, but never really got around to it.
Right.
I feel like if Jeff got to do more with the Legion of Superheroes, which he was certainly planning to do around the late 2000s, but only really got a couple Superman arcs in. I think there was a point where he envisioned her being kind of the link to what he was doing with the emotional spectrum over in Green Lantern.
Right.
But that's not really something that got developed.
Sure.
As it is, what we have with her is kind of a psycho pirate sort of deal where she can manipulate emotions.
Right. I'm going to throw something out.
Okay.
Out there. We have not in any way defined the location of these fights.
Oh, yeah.
But in the interest of making Color Boy useful, if he can change the color of things, he can also rob them of color, right? He can make things black, right?
Yes.
So does it also stand to reason he could make things like Vanta black or, that sort of like disorienting, like it absorbs too much light.
Yes.
Kind of to like affect like your depth perception.
No,
like,
that's not just
how your brain.
That's not just theorizing. Visual. That's text. Like in the comics, Color Kid will turn something completely black to blind his opponent.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, you're not really stretching his powers beyond their capacity here.
Right.
But we're just kind of moving deck chairs around the Titanic. We're dealing with Plastic Man, who basically defeated Beast Boy and Cyborg on his own.
Yeah.
And we're dealing with Constantine, who is, I don't know, he's not like a super powerful wizard, but he's kind of Batman level in his ability to screw with people.
Well, and also, per the discussion we just had with the last matchup, John Constantine will cheat to win.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But in this case, he doesn't have to.
No, he doesn't, which is maybe a nice change for him. But
right. I think if he was in the last match if it was Constantine versus Ambush Bug and Black Adam, you could make a solid case for Constantine.
Right.
There was that bit in Forever Evil Trinity War, rather.
Trinity War, where he steals Billy's...
where he steals Billy's power.
Yeah.
And, I think he could do some interesting things with Ambush Bug's ability to see into the panels. And use that to his advantage. Peek over to the next page.
Just since you mentioned it, this is just like a fun sort of side question here.
All right.
A big part of that moment in Trinity War, and then later the climax of Forever Evil, hinges on the idea that this very specific, very powerful magic spell that governs the powers of Shazam is triggered by like simple voice recognition.
Yes.
And if you have a voice that matches, you can make it happen.
That's not crazy, considering when you go back to the classic Captain Marvel comics, anybody with the name Billy Batson was able to summon the power of Shazam.
Because that was the Lieutenant Marvels, right?
Yeah. So there's always these like really weird baseball-sized loopholes in the Shazam power. So I don't really see that as being a betrayal of the spirit of Shazam, because it's always been very silly.
When you throw the Lieutenant Marvels in there, you're right. All of a sudden, it doesn't seem so silly, because I think maybe because the stories themselves were taking themselves so seriously, I was like, really?
If you lose the whimsy around Captain Marvel, then you might as well be writing a Black Adam story.
Sure. Yeah.
Which
all right. That's good. I'm glad you weighed in on that, because that's
all right.
Fun little thing.
Yeah.
All right. Next teams. We've got Raven and Red Hood.
Okay.
Jason Todd, obviously not.
Not Joker.
Not whoever the Joker was. Yeah.
Or whoever that is.
Yeah. Raven and Red Hood versus Poison Ivy and Mira.
Mira's tough. Mira's real tough. I love Mira. I have so much respect for Mira. But Raven is also like a world, like both Raven and Mira in the worst possible scenario could destroy the planet.
Yeah, I mean they're both wickedly powerful. I mean, this tag team is another one of those ones where it's almost like the Captain Comet space cabbie thing.
Who is Mira's
in that
again? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's Poison Ivy and Mira.
Oh, Poison Ivy is also a major global threat here. Oh man, yeah. I love Jason Todd. Jason Todd is my favorite Robin. He's one of my favorite characters. I feel like there's a lot to be said about Jason and a lot that's been misunderstood about him.
Sure.
Especially by the writer who had control of him over 9 years.
Sure.
I have nothing but love and respect for Jason, but he has absolutely nothing to contribute to this fight.
But now the question is,
could they take Raven?
And for me, I feel like I'm leaning to Raven.
If we're talking about full on Wrath of Trigon, the peak of her powers, Raven, there's not a lot you can do about that than to appeal to her humanity. That's the only way you can basically stop Raven. And her friends are what do that. But she doesn't know Mira. Poison Ivy doesn't have any power over her.
Yeah, interesting. To me, the reason I'm going there too is that, Mira's power is sort of slightly magical, but it's it's aquakinesis essentially. Poison Ivy's power, again, slightly magical. It's connected to the green, but it's florokinesis.
Yeah,
Raven has that added layer of could you pull the water out of Raven if she is just being full magic?
She's a demon.
To me, that seems like the little edge there is that she doesn't play by the rules of normal, biology or whatever. Right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Raven is very often underestimated.
Yeah.
When she goes evil, it's a really scary thing for the entire world.
Yeah.
we're dealing with 3 world killers here, but 2 of them focus on the principles of nature and one is beyond them. I think with all 3 of them operating at their maximum capacity, Raven wins.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I'm giving this to Raven and Red Hood. Red Hood gets to ride those coattails.
Absolutely. I don't know. The part of the reason I love Jason Todd is that he's not that great at everything. He's kind of mediocre by Batman standards, and
Sure.
which is still pretty good when you're dealing on a Gotham level. But like compared to, say, I mean, everybody that Batman basically deals with, he's competent. Not a world killer at all.
Yeah.
But all of my favorite DC characters, save 1 or 2, are guys who are just very flawed and keep continuing to try their best.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. All right. Next up here. I think we might be slightly stretching here.
Okay.
One team is the Spectre and the Shadow.
I'll allow it. I will allow it.
You'll allow that one?
Sure. The Shadow's been in enough Batman comics. There was a time where he was published by DC.
So he's in on a technicality, I think.
Yeah, I'll allow him in on a technicality, mainly because I don't see a lot of what he can bring to this fight.
Well, totally. And they're going up against the team of Condiment King and Ragman.
Okay. Oh, Mitchell Mayo. Condiment King and Ragman.
Well, I really love Condiment King. I want to see Matt Reeves Condiment King.
Who would you get to play Condiment King in a Matt Reeves movie?
Oh, Bryan Cranston.
Absolutely. He's got experience playing all those dumb Power Rangers villains.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's how he started in this industry.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Going back to his roots with that one. Ragman was in the last one I was in a year ago. We had Ragman fight Lady Shiva, and I had a moment.
Oh yeah, this was our big. It was very contentious. Yeah.
So I had a moment of self-doubt over whether Shiva could beat Ragman, and I ultimately decided on Shiva because I'm unapologetic in my fandom for her.
Yeah, well, and I think if I remember correctly, your argument was that Ragman wouldn't be able to consume the souls of someone who was unrepentant.
Right. Here's the thing, though. Spectre hates himself.
Yeah.
Specifically Jim Corrigan. Like, the whole reason he's not able to move on to heaven and has to be the Spectre is that he feels like he has this, like, burden he has to atone for.
Right.
He hasn't comprehended the, like, weight of the life he lived.
But Spectre did pretty, I mean, I know slightly different circumstances. He did pretty easily burn out a bunch of souls from the Suit of Souls during Day of Vengeance.
That's true. Okay, so yeah. I guess Spectre wins.
I think it's got to be Spectre, unless there's some sort of like verse in the Bible where it says that God's like allergic to mustard or something.
No, I've read the Bible. I don't recall that.
No.
I mean, just to give him something to do, we'll have the Shadow punch out Condiment King.
Yeah.
Just so
I like the idea that Condiment King, not only is it the inconvenience of like having stuff squirted at you, but he'd also be the guy that's like, just for good measure, he'd like throw a pack of peanuts and be like, allergy, like kind of.
Oh, here's the thing. Here's why the Shadow is useful here. As we established, Spectre can't fight anyone that's innocent.
Right.
He has no reason to go after Ragman. Condiment King has committed no major crimes.
Right.
What Spectre is here to do is neutralize the Suit of Souls. With that out of the way, Shadow can take these two.
You sure? Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Ragman isn't like a super talented fighter. He relies on the Suit of Souls. I mean, he's competent, but he's not the Shadow who's out there every night Batmaning it up.
Right.
Keeping toe-to-toe with Batman himself back when he was a DC character for that brief window of time in the 1980s. So the Shadow ends up being a lot more useful here than I originally thought.
Well, there you go. So the Shadow and Spectre win, but not for the reasons you might think.
Right, exactly. Most of the fighting is the Shadow.
Yeah. Okay, this next one.
Also, he has guns, the Shadow.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
he can like shoot them.
Yeah, and up against Ketchup Gun, I'd take real gun.
Mm-hmm. Most of the time, 90% of the time, I take the real gun. The 10% of the time is when I'm like having a hot dog. I'd rather have a ketchup gun.
Yes, yeah, that's when a real gun doesn't come in handy.
Not quite.
Okay, this next one is like a super one-sided match, and I trust you to make the right choice. So team number 1 is Etrigan and Trigon.
Okay.
Team number 2 is me and Richard.
Well, we know Etrigan and Trigon are related.
Right.
Yeah. Like they're like cousins or nephews or something.
Yes.
According to like
this is all the weird, like all the different hells and how they all connect.
Which personally I hate. Marv Wolfman was very, very insistent throughout his Teen Titans run that Etrigan is not a demon. He's not a devil. Trigon, rather. He's not a devil. He's not from hell. He's from a very hell-like other dimension.
Right.
He's not part of any religion or like cosmology that you know of. He's unknowable. Right. So relating him to like the hierarchy of hell is kind of a betrayal of what Wolfman had in mind.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting into is, how are you and Richard related?
Oh, by an unspeakable bond. Yeah. How are we related?
Yeah.
I guess not technically in any way other than just the a fraternity forged in fire.
Well, there you go. I don't know what that does in this fight. Maybe you can explain to me your power set.
Right. Yeah, I guess the only thing, and I will attempt to use actual DC cosmology for this. The only thing that we may have in our favor is that Richard and I are on Earth 33.
Yes.
Which has an outsized influence on the direction of the multiverse. And the podcast has been gaining in popularity, and we've been making, friends and connections with comic creators.
That's true.
So the only move we've got is to try to like subtly exert our influence or waive our rights to pitches. A thing that comic creators hate when you do is give them pitches that they can't use. And just
not only
subtly
do they hate it, they can't take it.
Yeah, exactly. And just try to subtly manipulate them so they think it's their idea.
Right.
To alter the power sets of Etrigan and Trigon.
Do you think that you and Richard are capable of that level of charisma?
I think I am, but I'm not connected enough. And I think Richard could get connected enough, but he doesn't have the charisma.
So that's where the tag team comes in.
That's why we must be a team. That's why this podcast doesn't work.
And can you do this within the 5 seconds it would take for Trigon to smush you like a bug?
No, I guess not.
Well, there we go.
Fine. Somehow the big upset, Etrigan and Trigon won this one.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
You might have had a case against Color Kid and Rainbow Girl.
Yeah, sure.
Or maybe even Ragman and Condiment King, but you got the bad luck of the draw here.
Yeah, we picked a rough one.
Yeah.
This next one, it's kind of weird how the random matchups shook out.
It always is.
So the one team is Jimmy Olsen and Ambush Bug.
Okay, Ambush Bug is back.
The other team is specifically Silver Age Jimmy Olsen.
All right.
And Egg Foo.
Which Egg Foo? The super racist Egg Foo?
Well,
that's a trick question. They're all super racist.
Well, yeah, I think because it doesn't specify, I'm going to open that up to include Cheng Tsu and
the super scientist.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting angle, because the thing about Silver Age Jimmy Olsen is that he is genetically super malleable.
Yeah.
Basically, Chang Tzu could give him any superpower.
It's true. He's almost, Silver Age Jimmy Olsen is almost like sort of like a neutral, like putty, ready for a mad scientist to do something to him.
I was talking about this off air. I have been reading Jack Kirby's Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen.
Right.
And what's really interesting Darkseid appears in that comic for the first time.
Right.
And we see Darkseid's first plan to take over the Earth.
Right.
And in order to take over the world, he has to get rid of Superman.
Of course.
What's the way what's the plan to get rid of Superman? It's to take Jimmy Olsen, clone him into the Hulk, and give him like kryptonite infused blood. And it almost works until like a member of the Newsboy Legion clones himself a million times. That makes like a tiny army to fight him.
I love that so much.
Yeah, it's great. Why didn't we see that in Batman versus Superman?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Doomsday should have been Jimmy Olsen. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Instead of getting shot in the head in the desert. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm not Zack Snyder. I would make different choices than Zack Snyder. Every step of my life.
Listen, that particular choice, it really could have gone either way.
That's true. That's true. I don't think there's a good or evil here.
I think here's the question I'll pose to you as someone who has kind of a more ready access to more specific knowledge than I do. Does Jimmy Olsen gain anything or have any sort of additional thing to bring to a fight in eras beyond the Silver Age that he doesn't just have? Like, does the regular Jimmy Olsen one that we have here gain anything by not being pigeonholed as only Silver Age Jimmy Olsen? Or is Silver Age Jimmy Olsen where all the good stuff is?
The main difference between Silver Age Jimmy Olsen and modern Jimmy Olsen is that Silver Age Jimmy Olsen is a cub reporter. Modern Jimmy Olsen is a photographer. Right. Jimmy Olsen didn't become a photographer until the movie, until Superman 1978. And from that point on, he's had that role. So he's real good at taking pictures. I don't know what that'll do.
Yeah. Ambush bug. Again, teleportation is, I mean, you can use it more offensively, but it's not an inherently offensive power.
Yeah, what's he going to do? Surprise, here's Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, I guess we're giving it to Silver Age Jimmy Olsen and Shang Tzu.
Yeah, because of we paired a super scientist with the ultimate test subject.
Yeah. The ultimate test subject is the right way to put it. Yeah. I love that.
All right.
We've only got 2 more matchups to go here.
Oh, I could be here all night, but yeah, let's keep going.
I know. I love these. All right. This one. Okay. Tag team number 1 is Rogol Zar and the Batman Who Laughs.
Okay. 2 villains they tried very, very hard to push in 2018.
And the other team is Chloroform and Emperor Joker. So Emperor Joker being, as you know, Joker with the powers of Mr. Mxyzptlk.
Sure.
And for anyone not who hasn't been following, Rogol Zar was the character they pinned Krypton's destruction on.
'Twas I who set the planet ablaze.
Yeah, exactly. And I will end all Kryptonians.
Watch me smash Kandor.
Yeah, that was the kind of first big Bendis contribution.
Turns out I was really the pawn of some crystal alien queen whose name you've forgotten already.
Yeah. I truly could not tell you what happens to
something about the circle.
Yeah. It's completely gone from my mind.
In it. Rogol Zar, that guy, Doomsday who can talk.
Yeah, he's like indestructible, super strong. He's got that axe that can cut Kryptonians.
Sure. But Emperor Joker's Chloroform, unless I'm mistaken, he's like a member of the gas gang.
Yeah, I thought that's how I read this.
Yeah. It's not like Chlorophyll Kid or something misspelled.
No. It was Chloroform. I just assumed it was the gas gang.
That's weird. Why would whoever submitted this just submit Chloroform?
It's because we've fostered a community of people that like to fuck with us.
Okay. You know what? I've spent a couple weeks on the doc score before it got too weird and I had to get out of there. So I get it.
The gas gang, the incorporeal counterparts to the metal men.
Yeah, Chloroform.
I guess to me, Rogol Zar and Chloroform are kind of like non-factors in this.
Yeah. I will say that the thing about the Batman Who Laughs is that he's a Joker-fied Batman, and Joker's one power is that he's immune to all toxins. So there's nothing chloroform could even do to him.
Totally. But now the question is, who can outmaneuver out whatever each other? Batman Who Laughs, that has kind of the power of like infinite preparedness.
Yes.
Or Emperor Joker, who has the power of infinite power.
I think you could make a decent case for the Batman Who Laughs against Emperor Joker.
Right.
Because they're like cosmic roles, or that Batman always wins and the Joker always loses.
Yeah.
And, you know, considering that the Batman Who Laughs is supposed to be our Batman who finally went over the edge.
Right.
He has conceptually been through this before. He knows.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he would have taken the steps to like figure out how to get out of this again.
Yeah. Fair enough. Oh my God. Are we giving it to the Batman Who Laughs?
I think we might. But like the thing about the Batman, the thing about A, the Batman Who Laughs, and B, who would win in a fight in general, is that you don't get to give it to the guy you like. You got to give it to the person who would win. The Batman Who Laughs sucks because he always wins. It's boring.
Yeah.
And it's that boring element of that character that would allow him to triumph over Emperor Joker, specifically because if you read this fight in a comic, it would be designed to be like, whoa, he could even beat Emperor Joker.
Yeah. Oh shit, you're right. This is what I like about you, is that you're fair.
He would get him to say his name backwards. That would be the end of it.
Yeah, that's right. Wait, so hang on. I'm not remembering the Emperor Joker thing. Would he have to get Joker to say Joker backwards? Or
that's not
still be
that's not actually
making him say like kill Tipsyism?
That was not actually part of that storyline.
Oh, okay.
I feel like Scott Snyder would write that in here.
Yeah, so. Yeah. that I would buy that. That's like that's very that fits.
He would tell him a knock joke, or he'd have to go recodge who.
Right. This last one we're ending on, I think I know who's going to win this, because it also feels pretty lopsided, but right. I want to see what you think here. So tag team number 1 is Power Girl and Mr. Mix's Pitlick. Okay. Tag team number 2 is Dick Grayson as Batman and Tim Drake.
Well, get fucked, Robbins.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely giving it to the people with powers.
Yeah, they're not Batman. I mean, Dick Grayson is Batman.
Because I was going to say, even based on like what we were just talking about, is like narratively, they're not Bruce. Yeah.
I mean, part of what makes Dick interesting as Batman is that he has more of a capacity to fail than Batman himself.
Yes.
Unfortunately, again, the nature of these who would win in a fight scenarios is that the more interesting characters are the ones who are going to lose a lot of the time.
That is true. Yeah.
I feel like both Nightwing and Tim Drake have a better batting average of good stories to bad than, say, Power Girl and Mr. Mix's Pitlick.
Right.
But yeah, the Kryptonian and the all-powerful fifth dimensional imp win this fight.
Yes. When you put it like that.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all the matchups.
Are you sure? You don't have another one like at the bottom of the bag that you can still fish out?
I don't.
No, you're completely tapped.
I'm completely tapped. That's all of our matchups.
Oh,
but we're not done.
Oh yeah.
It's time for. Damn it! I wish I had Richard's script. Time for everybody's favorite game. Can you guess the name of the comic book character from DC Comics based on how someone who does not read comics describes that character to us?
This time it's just me versus you, though, because you have the.
It's all on you. This is kind of a push week for me because
this is
I know who the character is. I sent it to Richard, who I believe sent it to his wife. She doesn't read comics, nor does she care for them. She sends back 4 clues describing the image that she sees, which is different than describing the character she's seeing.
Mm-hmm. As we've established.
Yes. As we've well established. Yeah. So we've got a character. We've got 4 clues. Alex Jaffe, are you ready?
All right. I got to say, I've been on this show. This is my 4th time on the show. I've gotten it once. I failed to get it twice. So this is my chance to even the score. What I will say is that I have learned from experience that the image that Richard usually pulls is either from Wikipedia or the DC Wiki.
Right.
So if it's going to be a description of that image, that's what I should be looking at.
Right.
But with that in mind, let's see how unfair this is. I also want to say shout out to Richard's wife for doing this every week, considering that she does not care about this at all. Like, that's love right there. The fact that you participate in this Michigas.
It really is. Yeah.
Shout out to Richard's wife.
Here we go.
Okay.
Clue number 1.
All right.
Leather Daddy.
Bane.
Ooh, good guess. No, but love where your head's at.
That's enough to go on. I always think about new gods when you give me these descriptions.
You know what? That's also fair too. There is like a distinct Leather Daddy thing in a lot of new gods.
Oh man, like BDSM related DC characters. There's a lot. I mean, it's a whole thing. Oh man, Leather Daddy. Jeez.
Would you like another clue?
No, not yet. I want one more guess, but I want, I don't know, a couple more guesses.
Sure, yeah.
Leather Daddy. How many times can I say that?
This is how I play this game all the time. It's just keep saying something until I think of something else.
Yeah. I don't know. Give me the next one.
Okay. Clue number 2. Spiky shoulders.
Ooh. I mean, when I think spiky shoulders, I think Doomsday, I think Superboy. Neither of them are Leather Daddies.
No.
I don't know. How about Voldo from Soul Calibur?
Whoa. No.
No? You're not stunting on me? I don't know.
No.
This sounds a little bit like an Elden Ring boss. Is it an Elden Ring boss?
It's not. We're still firmly in DC.
Are we talking about the loathsome dung eater here? Show me the loathsome dung eater.
I love the names in Elden Ring.
It's great.
Oh,
all right. Man, I'm surprised he didn't show up in this. Like there wasn't some kind of loathsome dung eater cum man team up.
I know. I gotta say, people behaved themselves relatively.
Did they know I was coming or something?
No, I don't know. I think, we're growing up.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
You Canadian podcast award winners.
Oh God, yeah.
Really.
I mean, that shows where the bar is in Canada.
It sure does. I don't know. Are there like 20 podcasts in Canada or something?
You know what? Weirdly, there's like 7 in the Yukon.
Huh.
Podcasting's become a big thing up here.
Okay. All right. Give me my next clue.
All right. Clue number 3. Needs Visine.
Needs a Visine. Oh, fuck. This is the Batman Who Laughs.
It's not.
How is it not? Like all of these describe that. The Leather Daddy, the spiky shoulders. Oh, man. Needs Visine. So he's got red eyes.
He does.
All right. Is it any of the other Dark Knights?
No.
Okay. Oh, boy. So it's not the Drowned.
No.
Who's your favorite Dark Knight, Doc?
Oh.
Who's your favorite Dark Multiverse Batman?
Do you know what? If I'm being honest, I think it's the Merciless.
Which one is that?
That's the one where he gets the helmet of Ares.
Oh yeah, the one that's like a Wonder Bat fake out.
And I also, because I liked that one shot a lot. I liked his sort of like that he hadn't gone necessarily like completely evil, but he was just like, it's just the only way. He was just like so tired. I kind of loved the setup of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's up there. Although I did also have I have an admitted soft spot for the Batman Who Frags.
Mine is the Pearl. That's Martha Wayne.
Yeah, that was a cool one.
Yeah. All right. This is my way of stalling to say I don't know who this is. I'm ready to take the L. Give me the next clue.
You get one more clue.
Give me that last clue.
If Robin was in My Chemical Romance.
Oh, damn. Okay, so it's a kid. It seems like it's a little kid, small, little leather daddy, spiky shoulders, needs Visine. Oh, boy. Oh, I feel like an ass. How often do you get these?
The first year we did it, like I won like 2/3 of them. This year, I think going into next week, which is basically the end, like where we roll the year over, I think I'm at 500. I'm tied. Yeah.
All right. So you're doing a lot better than me. It's that language you have with Richard. You know him better.
Well, I know what certain clues from his wife mean in terms of what she's looking at in the image now.
Okay. Red eyes, spiky shoulders, My Chemical Romance Robin, leather daddy. I'm at a loss. I'm going to have to throw up the white flag.
I think this one, I mean, not that I would have expected you to get this, but I think it'll make you mad when you see where the clues came from.
Okay.
I'm going to show you the image.
I mean, this always makes me mad.
Fair. I'm going to show you the image here.
I always leave this show pissed off. Black Condor.
Black Condor.
Black Condor. I mean, I guess that's all fair. Okay, it's specifically Black Condor from like the Gray and Palmiotti reboot they tried to do around 2006.
Yes.
In the wake of
it's the all black suit. There's feathers coming off the shoulders.
No, I get it. I get what she's going for. You know what? I cannot fault her. I cannot fault him. The blame is placed on me for forgetting about Uncle Sam and the Freedom Fighters on this Memorial Day that we're recording the podcast.
Oh, is it Memorial Day in the States?
Yeah, it's Memorial. I am downright unpatriotic right now. I have to give up my American card.
Well, this is also because we just did a Freedom Fighters app last week too. I think so.
You know who I always liked? I always liked the Human Bomb. I
love Human Bomb. Great character. I wish he would show up more, like on his own, like in cameos or just in his own.
I would love to see like. There's another character who you could make a Black Label series out of. Like, totally. I feel like Tom King would do a great Human Bomb series.
Yeah. What is sadder than a guy who can't touch anything?
Yeah. Like he just wants to be a hero and all he knows how to do is explode. That's Tom King all over it.
He's got a volatile King Midas thing going on.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah,
all right.
I love that.
I will take that L with respect. And I think I'll be back in a few weeks to talk about Justice League Unlimited.
We are going to get to our Justice League Unlimited episode. We're both pumped for it. We both just want to do it properly.
Yeah, exactly.
But
you know what? Yeah.
No, thank you, Alex, for coming on. Thank you for adjudicating. This is like your bread and butter. We love having you on for other stuff anyway, but this is like where I love to get your insight and your encyclopedic knowledge. And
Judge Jaffe rules.
Yeah, why don't you let the listeners know where to find you and plug your stuff.
Okie doke, I'm going to do that. So I have this podcast called Insert Credit. It's about video games where I ask the smartest people in the video game industry the weirdest and stupidest questions I can think of. Every month we have a segment called Violence Island, which is very much like this. I alluded to it earlier, but if you want to hear more of this weird content, it's going on over there. We also make a lot of dumb puns about video game names that nobody remembers. Let's see. I'm at dccomics.com writing a column for them called Ask the Question, where much like this podcast, people write in to ask their like weird, very detailed questions about DC Comics. And no matter how granular or obscure they are, I do the research to find the answer. Or if I happen to know the answer off the top of my head, that's an easy week for me. I'm writing about Star Wars over at Popverse, which is the new culture blog, which was launched by Read Pop. They're doing some interesting things over there. I just wrote a really neat article about the queer history of Star Wars, where I basically took 6,000 words to say not much. Let's see, what else am I doing? Look for Action Button on YouTube. That's a great video game review series that I'm doing some work on. Season 2 is gonna start soon, beginning with Boku no Natsuyatsumi, which was a game released for the PS2 that never came out over here in America. There's some interesting stuff going on there.
Nice.
Yeah, about a 10-year-old's summer vacation. It's really cute. It's more than cute. It's got some interesting things in it.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's see. What else am I doing? I know I've got like 7 jobs going on. I don't know. Subscribe to HBO Max. Watch Peacemaker. I feel like the people listening to this show would really like Peacemaker if they haven't seen it already.
Oh yeah, my dad has just started watching through Peacemaker because it's finally available on CTV.
Yeah.
So he's been watching that, and it's funny because when he tells me about it, I can tell he wants to say that he likes it, but there's a part of his brain that's like, this is too dumb for me to like it.
Yeah, I feel like it's very much the level of humor exactly for the audience of this show.
Yes,
and
I agree.
Finally, I would like to plug my friend Jadzia Axelrod. She just wrote a book called Galaxy, the Prettiest Star.
That's right.
Which is this intensely beautiful and heartbreaking narrative about an alien princess trapped on Earth, forced to live as a boy. And it's about accepting your identity and expressing yourself. And it's just, it is a trans narrative, but it's got something in it that absolutely everybody can identify with. And I couldn't recommend it highly enough.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's awesome.
There we go. That's all my stuff.
Well, Alex, thank you so much for coming back on.
Of course. Can't wait for number 5.
Oh yeah. You're climbing the guestingest guest ranks.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna earn that residency here at the Dr. DC Hospital.
That's right. Well, FANAGAR is going to be continuing all month long. This is our Fan Appreciation Month, so we're going to have fun stuff happening on the Patreon and on Twitter. The FANAGAR Tournament of Pandering is happening. If you want to see all the different stuff that's going on, or you just want to reach out, or you want to ask a question for a future episode, you can hit us up on all the regular channels. We're on Facebook at Dr. DC Podcast, on Twitter at Dr. DC, Instagram, Dr. DC Podcast. You can see our subreddit, r/Dr_DC. You can send us an email, drdcpodcast@gmail.com. We have a website, drdcpodcast.com or .ca. You can give us a call on the doc phone, 208-917-3238. That's 208-917-DCEU if you're nasty. We're on TikTok at Dr. DC. Like I said, on the Patreon, we're going to have some fun stuff happening all month as well. Patreon.com/DrDC. We've got a $1, $5, and $7 level, and all of those give you access to the Doc Squad, our awesome fan community, and at the higher levels, you get bonus episodes, you get videos, theme polls, and during FANAGAR, participation in the second chance tourney. So all of the themes that don't make it through the first round of the tournament of pandering go into the second chance tournament and have an opportunity to leap back in. Speaking of the tournament of pandering, if you've never participated before, you can head on over to Twitter. Every day there's a new vote. We're trying to whittle down a fan voted theme for an episode that we're doing this month. So there's something, a new poll up every day. For the first round, the top 2 from each day move on, and the bottom 2 go over to that Patreon second chance tournament. We've got fun stuff coming up. If you want to send a question not about DC Comics, but just for us, about us, you want to get to know us, we're going to be recording our annual episode soon. It'll be annual number 5. We've been doing this for 5 years. So if you want to send a question or something not about DC Comics, you can send that stuff in to us. And if you enjoy us, but you want us in a different context, why don't you check out Ghost Facers, a supernatural rewatch. It is a show where we are rewatching every single episode of the CW Supernatural. We do real world monster lore. We talk about behind the scenes stuff about the show. It's a ton of fun. If you like our weird bullshit here, you might like our weird bullshit there. And finally, if you have an overwhelming urge to mail something to us, you can do that. Our address is 301 Hogue Street. That's Hoge Street in Whitehorse, Yukon, Canada. Y1A1V8. That is it. Thank you so much, Alex. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
They always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure. They are men of might.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.